How you doing, big boy?
What's up, fellas?
So, Greg, you've had 3 days to reconsider that stance of yours, that this is really a 7-win football team. Have you come to your senses yet on that?
I have not. No.
You stand by that?
I do stand by that. And here's a small indication of why. Okay, so the Patriots last year in DVOA ranked 9th on defense. Not first. You hear a lot of people say, oh, yeah,
top 5
the
defense.
best. Yeah, all that stuff. So they were 9th, okay? They were 29th in offense.
Yep.
Okay? That resulted in 4 wins. The Pittsburgh Steelers, just similar ballpark, okay? Pittsburgh Steelers were, and by the way, according to Aaron Schatz over at, it's now FTN, where he is. We used to be Football Outsiders. Okay, so that resulted, along with special teams, they were ranked 28th. That resulted in 5.3 estimated wins based on just the stats.
I love it.
Okay?
No. This is when you don't. I'm sorry, Greg. When you don't have a good batting average, you know what you point to? Your expected batting average. And when you don't have a good goal scoring stat, you know what you point to? Expected goals. But I'm sorry. Continue.
Right. No, but I think this backs up that the Patriots should have finished 4, 5 wins, whatever.
I'm into it.
The result. Okay. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, who were 6th on defense in defensive DVOA, they didn't have great special teams, 20th, not great. Mm-hmm. Okay. But their offense was just 15th. And that resulted in an estimated wins of 10.5. So my point is if the Patriots were just...
How many wins did Pittsburgh actually have?
10.
They got to 10, right?
Yeah, they were 10-7.
All right, go ahead.
So if my point is, if you take a step back and you look at it, and I understand the totality of what went on last year, sure, they stunk. But if you look at different pieces of it, if you just say, all right, if the Patriots were 20th in offense last year, they get to 6-7 wins, let alone middle of the road. And so I just think the talent given, especially on defense, and that was without Christian Gonzalez and without Matthew Judon for a bulk of the year. I think the talent on defense, and I think this is what they're doing for now, is just trying to get to a middling offense. That for 1 year should give them the progress to get people to buy in and say we're going in the right direction, and then try to go from there.
Greg, if they have a top 10 defense, a middle-of-the-road offense, and sniff 7 wins, you know what I really care almost more about than the win total? Is how many wins they have going into December.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just think it's important for them to be playing December games that matter. So call it 5 or 6 wins going into December. If that's what they are, I consider that a win. Like, I will take that. That means you're having a football season. That means you're getting better. That means you're taking at least a baby step on the way back up. I don't think they're there. I think they're going to be worse. I think they're getting worse. The competition, the schedule might be better. Like, we can go back and forth on that, I suppose. But don't you think there's going to be less dysfunction? That's for sure. But they're also installing a new offense. I'm like, aren't you going to take some steps back in that? Now, look, the quarterback will know it. So the quarterback's not taking a step back in terms of the offense. But the offensive line is, a lot of the existing players are. Don't you think there's going to be some growing pains with that?
You could say that. I think that they view this scheme, West Coast based, sort of simple West Coast based, that it's one of the easier ones for young people to learn. And Packers, through the years, they plug people into this very early, and the kids play on offense, offensive line, wide receivers, all these guys. I think they will view it as it's user friendly for young people, and it better be, because this is the path that they've taken going forward. But I agree with you. Overall, I completely agree with you. If they don't show progress this year, and I'm talking, you might call it significant, 7 wins, 8 wins. If they don't get to that level this year, it's a fail. Elliott Wolf and the front office have failed. Now, we need to see how they're going to get there, and if they don't address wide receiver 1, sometime before training camp, we'll see. I don't think it can come via the draft. I think it needs to come through a trade. If they don't do that and they don't improve, if they're in the same 4 or 5 wins, to me, it's a fail.
Okay, I'm on the same page with that. I just think that's where they are. Murray, do you have a thought?
Yeah, so would that then cost them their jobs? Maybe Wolf, even Gerard Mayo? I mean, you've seen coaches get fired after 1 year before. It has happened.
I don't think Mayo. I think, because he's got ownership on his side. They think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. They signed him to an extension when he didn't even have an offer to coach anywhere else. They are all in on on Mayo. I do think, and while I'm sure they have made assurances to him, Alonzo Highsmith is not coming here on a 6-month tryout basis. So to me, that's one indication that Wolf has been given assurances that he is the long-term general manager for this. They're going to get it worked out after, the whole draft, and they'll interview a couple people, but he's going to be the guy with a contract. But to me, until that happens, it's out there that he's going to be the scapegoat if this does not work.
Huh. Interesting. Okay, so I agree that Mayo gets more than a year. He's not, I don't know, name the one and done. He's not that guy. But Wolf, maybe so. And you already think that he's a sacrificial lamb on that.
Well, if they're a 4-win team this year, and which is what you think,
yep.
You think they're either there or they go backwards where they are. If that happens, I don't think Kraft has any other choice.
Okay, so if you don't, you think that 7 or 8 wins or it's a fail. Okay, agreed.
Yes.
You think just in their current state and with a good draft, that's where they are.
Yes, I do. I think the defense is that good. I think they will improve the scheme. I think you guys are underestimating and we'll see. These guys are unproven. I think there's a lot on the coaching staff that we're going to talk about. But just getting 2 real offensive line coaches in here after what has happened the past couple years. I warned you about it. I warned it was going to happen, that they didn't do a good enough job securing coaching on the offensive line. If Scott Peters and Robert Kugler are as good as people think they are, you are going to see vast improvement. And I know there's big worry about left tackle, and I understand that. I share that. But with the current personnel and with good coaching, you could say we can get by at left tackle being weaker at one side. Okay. Because you have Michael Wenu at right tackle, and you should be able to leave him alone.
Greg, the offensive line coach is Peters?
Peters, yep.
Wasn't he passed over in Cleveland?
Correct.
For the job? Okay, well, you just said it's how highly thought of. He was so not highly thought of as he got passed over on the team he was on.
You could say the same thing about Alex Van Pelt. Kevin Stefanski had Alex Van Pelt and Scott Peters on staff for multiple years.
Thank you.
And he did not want either to step into a role that was there for them. He passed him over. And in Alex Van Pelt, he just went in a totally different direction. So, yeah, I'm not saying that. That, to me, I am not as worried about personnel. I think they will make progress there. I am more worried about the totality of the coaching staff, from Gerard Mayo to the offensive coaching especially.
I'm 100% on that. I wrap in the staff with my overall feeling on the team, which is down. And it's not Wolf, and the drafting, I feel, is going to get better. It could hardly get worse. So I do think I'm okay there. But Mayo, just nope. And the offensive staff, I'm sorry. I just consider Van Pelt a journeyman. I just think he's that guy at this stage. He wouldn't be coordinating or calling plays for any other team other than this. The only reason he is because his connection with Wolf. And I feel the same way about Brissett. He wouldn't be starting on any other team. And the only reason he's here is because his connection with Van Pelt and his connection with Wolf. And it's just sort of that thing. And then don't give me Ben McAdoo. So I'm down on that whole thing, Greg. I'm down. What world are we bringing in the draft picks? I'm more concerned about that than the actual draft picks, frankly. But either way, I think they suck. And I think they're going to suck. And you still think 6, 7 wins, 7, 8 wins. Do we know what their Vegas over/under total is, Murray? Do you know what their
I don't. Let me
their win total is on DraftKings Sportsbook? Who brings you here the Felger Mazz show on the radio side? But Greg and I are going to formulate a little wager here, something. So you say 7 wins. Want to just put the Felger and Mazz over/under at 6.5?
Yeah, they have it at 7.5.
They have it at 7.5?
Yeah.
Wow. How about that?
I'll tell you what, big boy, because I'm fair and I'm generally good-hearted. I'm going to give you a Felger Mazz over-under of 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? If it's over, what do you want?
If it's over, I want you to write a column at BSJ and do a member Q&A.
Okay.
That's a fair bet.
Is the member Q&A written?
So, yes, it's written. So it's in the comments. You just go in there and you answer.
People on comments?
Yeah.
Oh, these are the worst kind of people ever.
No. BSJ members, it's a great place. It is not Twitter. It is not Reddit. It is
okay.
Smart
It's a
people
safe
who are
space,
there.
Mike.
It's a safe space.
Okay.
They have to. They put in questions. Then we go in and answer, and that's it. There's no back and forth.
And it's an open dialogue. It's normal. It's somewhat as normal people as you could hope for in that situation.
Occasionally, some people go off the rails, but for the most part, it's a safe space.
But the counter to you isn't going to be, why are you a loser?
Okay. A column, how many words?
1,000.
Wow, no.
How about you do 5 thoughts?
500.
What? I can't even clear my throat.
So
in
Beasley's
500
best
words.
practice on columns is 300 to 600 words.
Okay, 500 words, a 500-word column, and a, what'd you call the Q&A? With
member
your,
Q&A.
Okay, done. I'm under the 6.5.
If you win, what do I have to do? No ball gag. I'm not ball gagging anything. We can think about it. People
Well,
can
yeah,
suggest
okay,
things.
we'll come up with something. Under 6.5.
Over 6.5.
Under.
Pound
Easy.
it.
Okay.